With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Hey everyone, real quick, before we jump into the episode, I have a brand new ebook that I am super excited to share with you because it's going to help you to finally create some balance in your life. It's called The Balance System, and it's a practical and simple guide for creating sustainable balance each and every day. Now, this is for you if you've been struggling with finding balance in your daily life. If you're feeling overwhelmed and burnt out and you're just tired of living that way, then I have a solution for you that has worked for myself and thousands of other people. Now, what's really cool is that for a limited time, I'm allowing you to pay what you want for the ebook. Yes, really, you can pay whatever you want for this ebook, minimum of $5. So to go get your copy today, go over to MatthewBivens.com/balance. Again, that's MatthewBivens.com/balance. Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I'm helping you get out of your head so that you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to the Having It All podcast. My name is Matthew Bivens, and I am a balanced lifestyle coach and transformation specialist, here to have some amazing conversations with you about what it looks like to have an abundant, loving life. Yes, that's the definition of having it all for here in this show. That's the context, an abundant, loving life. And so if that's something you want to explore, then guess what? You're in the right place. Yes, you are. Today's episode is a really cool one because I'm kicking off a series that I'm going to be doing all about balance. Balance, that thing that so many of us are seeking and so many people struggle with. Just that concept of balance, particularly work-life balance. So this is going to be the first in a number of episodes I'm doing all about balance. So if that's something that you've been struggling with, then definitely tune in today and for the next several weeks. I've got some great content for you, and I'm also putting together some powerful tools, some things that you can use and implement in your life to create balance. And not just to feel it once, but to create balance that truly you can maintain and sustain. That's the whole point. It's not something that you do for a week or a month and then you get back into those unhealthy routines that you're in. I know if you're seeking balance in your life, you want that across the board and you want it to last. And I know it's possible because I've created it in my life and I've helped so many people, so many of my clients create it in their lives. So that's what we're kicking off right now with today's episode. And I wanted to start off by talking about some mistakes, some of the things that I've done in my life and that I see time and time again with folks I work with, some of the biggest mistakes that people make as they are working to create more balance in their life. So I'm going to share with you some of those mistakes today. We've got 5 of them. And then I'm going to also talk about how you can fix them. I'm not just going to leave you hanging, right? I'm not just going to tell you what you're doing wrong and then not tell you how to shift it. So I don't even like that word wrong. What you're doing ineffectively, right? Because that's it. You have this goal for balance, and some of the things you might be doing right now are not helping you to achieve that goal. So we're going to address them in today's episode. Let's kick things off with a little bit of magic, because that's one of the consequences of having it all. One of the consequences of living an abundant, loving life is you create magical moments all throughout your day. And it's those moments when you've influenced yourself, another person, or life itself in an empowering way. And that's the important part. It's in an empowering way, because we can influence people in disempowering ways, in unhealthy ways. All right, you could easily do that. You could flick somebody off in traffic, and now you influence them to, be a little bit more aggressive on the road, right? Right. So when we're talking about magic, we want the empowering ways that you're influencing self, others, in life. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share 2 examples with you today. And then when I'm complete, I want you to pause the episode and I want you to reflect on a moment. Just pick one moment today that you have when you have influenced yourself in a powerful way. All right. So I got 2 forms of magic right now. I got life magic and I guess it's 2 life magics. Yeah. The first is, I believe in my last episode, I talked about losing some things. I had been losing stuff. And one of the things that I lost was my wallet. So it was like last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. It was on a weekend, and I lost my wallet. Like, man, I cannot find this thing. And it was gone for about 4 or 5 days. And I thought there was a part of me that knew that, man, I'm not getting this wallet back. But then there's this little part of me that just held on to a little sliver of hope. And what was funny is I kept asking Maya. I was like, hey, Maya, where's Daddy's wallet? I figured that she's 2.5. She is so connected to source, right? She hasn't had all the years of layers that go in between her and just higher source. So I'm like, Maya's got that source connection. She'll be able to just feel the energy of my wallet. So I kept asking her, Maya, where's my wallet? Where's Daddy's wallet? She would say, the couch, the bathroom. And she would put all these little things out there. But I just kept this belief that, that wallet's going to show up. Lo and behold, Wednesday comes around. 5 days after I lose my wallet, we get a knock on our door, and it's the sanitation worker. And he has my wallet in his hand, and he hands it to Sarah. And he said he found it a couple of streets over. And what blows my mind about that is that the wallet was missing for 5 days. And when he returned it, it had clearly been in the garbage. Like, it smelled like the back of one of those garbage trucks. So I don't know what happened. Maybe I threw it away and then by accident, and then, when he dumped it out, he saw it. But after 5 days, my wallet was returned to me, and I had not yet fully completed my process of canceling all my cards and my license. I had only done it for a couple things. So I was so grateful that my wallet came back and I got my cards back. And I just don't have to, it's just like a beautiful thing when something like that comes back around. And I don't understand how it made its way back to me, but it did. So I'm very grateful for that. That's my first piece of magic. My second piece of magic was this past Sunday. Just had a very beautiful day with Sarah and Maya and with my cousin and her family. And so Sarah and Maya and I started the day off by going to see Aladdin, which was a lot of fun. Maya loved the movie. There were some parts that she thought was scary, and it was just cool to see her respond to that. And she loved Genie and Jasmine and all of it. It was beautiful. And it was the first time Sarah got to experience Maya in a movie theater. So that was magical right there. And then our car has been in the shop. And so we wanted to spend some time with my cousin, who has 3 little ones around Maya's age. And so she offered to come pick us up. And that was magical. So she scooped us up, and we went back to their place, and they have a beautiful community pool. We spent the afternoon in the pool. Maya was swimming, playing with her cousins, and then they grilled out for us, and so we got some food and a great conversation, and the kids got to play some more. And then her 3 kids all wanted to give Maya toys, some of their toys that they weren't using anymore. So we came back to our house like it was Christmas. We had just tons and tons of toys, and overall, incredibly magical and really abundant day. It's like we didn't have our car, so it's easy to believe like we don't have options and we're not mobile. But that's not the case at all. And I really love what my 2 pieces of magic have done for me, is helped me to see that the way that things are, it's not really how they might seem. You know what I mean? Like, you lose your wallet, you might believe that it's gone forever, but that may not be the case. You don't have a car, so you might believe that you're stuck at the house, but that may not be the case. And that's what my magic does for me. So those are my pieces of magic. Now, take a moment to reflect for yourself. How have you influenced self, others, or life in an empowering way today? think about it. Really reflect on it, because in doing that, you're going to recognize that you are powerful, right? And that's a big part of having it all. It's recognizing that power and using it responsibly, because you can create and manifest and experience whatever it is that you want. So take a moment now, reflect on your magic, and we will move on to some listener love. This is the portion of the episode where I just got to give it back to you all and just share with you how grateful I am for you, that you tune in, that you reach out, that you engage, that you interact, all of it. And so today's listener love goes to Rocio on Instagram. Rocio, thank you so much for listening to the podcast and for taking out a few minutes to connect with me on Instagram, because, you know, it takes time. And I just appreciate that you would write me such an awesome message. And what I really loved about what you had to say is that you said you are working on being proactive. And that right there is enormous as my phone rings. So I got to turn my phone off. That's totally unprofessional. But Rocio, it is so awesome that you're working on being proactive, because that's where your power lies. It lies in your proactivity, not in being reactive, not in reacting to life, but getting intentional and clear and being proactive and going after what you want to create and what you want to experience. So, Rocio, I'm really grateful for you. I'm inspired by the stance that you're taking for yourself and your proactivity, and I appreciate you connecting with me. If you listening right now want to connect with me on Instagram, you can do so at Matthew_Bivens. I would love to hear just what you're inspired by. Yeah, what are you inspired by in life? What are you playing for in life? I mean, what gets you excited? What gets you up out of bed? I would love for you to share that with me. I could put a little bit of my own energy behind it, and we can just keep the inspiration flowing, because it really is contagious. And that's why I use the word inspire very intentionally rather than the word motivate, because motivation can get your energy up. Like, motivation can help you feel great, but inspiration leads to action, right? And so when you inspire somebody, you motivate them to act. You influence them to get into action. And it's in that action that things start to change in their life. So I really love the word inspiration. And when you share with me what you're playing for, that inspires me, the same way that you might feel inspired listening to this podcast. So connect with me on Instagram. We can get into an awesome conversation. Matthew_Bivens, that's the handle on Instagram. Or you can hit me up on my email, mattcbivens@gmail.com, and we can get into some connecting, growing the community. I'm all about that.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now, get free shipping with your new Bartesian when you go to bartesian.com/cocktail. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for weddings, holidays, birthdays, or for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. And right now, get free shipping with your Bartesian purchase at bartesian.com/cocktail. Go to bartesian.com/cocktail and your home cocktail maker ships for free. That's bartesian.com/cocktail. How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now, get free shipping with your new Bartesian when you go to bartesian.com/cocktail. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for weddings, holidays, birthdays, or for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. And right now, get free shipping with your Bartesian purchase at bartesian.com/cocktail. Go to bartesian.com/cocktail and your home cocktail maker ships for free. That's Bartesian.com/cocktail.
All right, let's talk about some work-life balance mistakes. Yes. This is some great stuff because, and if you're listening to this podcast and other shows like mine, then I know this type of thing is on your mind. This whole idea of, how can I work on myself? How can I improve my self-care? How can I, make sure that I'm showing up powerfully in my life? How can I heal? How can I grow? How can I transform? And inevitably, this conversation of balance or something related to balance comes up because each one of us are juggling multiple roles. Like nobody has a single role that they get to go just be that role all day long. You are the role of yourself, right? Like that's a role, self. Then you also might be a partner to somebody, maybe husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. You also might be a parent. That's a role that requires so much of people, of myself. I get it. You might be an entrepreneur, or maybe you're a manager where you work, or maybe you're a friend, you have a big social group. Maybe you run an organization or you lead some sort of weekly meetup group. Whatever it is, you've got a lot of different roles. And when we have a lot of different roles and those roles have different responsibilities, those responsibilities have different amounts of weight. And guess what? You have a finite amount of energy that you can spend in a day. So where are you going to spend your energy? That is generally the question of balance. And when we talk about, what is very popular to talk about today is work-life balance. This idea of you got your work self, the production self, and then you've got your life self, everything else that goes on in your life. And so while we are seeking to create and maintain work-life balance, a lot of folks make mistakes. And you're probably making some of the 5 mistakes that I'm about to mention to you right now, especially if you are feeling imbalanced, overstressed, or uninspired in life. I guarantee you are making some of these mistakes. So today's agenda in this episode is I'm going to go through each of these 5 mistakes. I'm going to share them with you. And after each one, I'm going to tell you a way that you can fix it. Because I want you to be able to take action on this stuff. Because I know how frustrating it is to feel imbalanced. And then when you hear me describe these mistakes, it might just validate what you already know. And now I want to give you something to take a next step. But let's also listen. Let's listen to let's also, I don't know what's going with that, but remember what was said in the Listener Love. That's why I looked at my screen. I saw the word listen. Remember in Listener Love, Rocio was working on being proactive. This is important. This is like a little asterisk behind everything I'm going to share. You've got to be proactive in seeking out your own change and your own solutions. So I'm going to give you some fixes to these mistakes. I'm going to give you ways to get over them. But you also have to be proactive in implementing it and then also creating your own solutions, because there's not just one solution to these challenges. There's many different paths you can take. So on everything that I share, whether it's this episode or other ones, being proactive is always going to be an ingredient in you creating the growth and the change and the transformation that you want. It's not going to happen by being passive. You have to be proactive. You have to take initiative. So log that in your mind as I'm going through these mistakes. Like, okay, Matthew said some great stuff. How can I be proactive and take that to the next level? If you adopt that mentality, I guarantee you can shift feeling imbalanced, overstressed, uninspired. 100% guarantee it. But without that proactivity, you're just going to be in the same space, feeling frustrated. So let's kick things off. The very first mistake that a lot of people make when it comes to work-life balance is that you have a losing paradigm. Yes, you have a losing paradigm. What I mean by that is the way that you're viewing work-life balance right there, that can set you up to fail with it. The reason being, if you believe that there is a pure balance between work and life, you're not going to be able to actually achieve it, because there isn't. There is not a pure state of balance, right? 2 things are equal. Like imagine you have a scale, and you've got your work self on one side and your life self on the other. Those 2 things are not equal. And so if you have that paradigm, like that's why I don't even like work-life balance. I intentionally use that wording here because I know that's the wording that gets people's ears perked up. But I don't use that in my own life. I don't go about seeking my own work-life balance, not at all. And I'll tell you in a minute the paradigm that I do use that's way more powerful than work-life balance. But if you think about it, let's say that you work a 9 to 5, and let's just look at purely the amount of hours you spend in a given day, right? You got 24 hours in a day. If you work a 9 to 5, you're working 8 of those hours in your work self. Okay, great. Let's say that you're also sleeping 8 hours. Let's just make it nice and round. Okay, 8 hours of sleep. 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work. Now you've got 8 hours left, and you're going to divide that amongst your quote-unquote life. Remember, this is work-life balance. So what makes up your life? Let's say that, remember we talked about roles. Let's say you've got 5 different roles that you've got going on. You've got yourself, you've got a significant other, you're a parent, maybe you've got friends. If you have friends, that's a role right there. And maybe you've got some family that lives close by. You've got 5 important roles in your life that make up your quote-unquote life. You can't possibly give each of those the same amount of time that you give work. So the idea of having balance between work and life, like that right there just leaves people feeling so incredibly frustrated because you're always going to feel like you're putting more energy into one rather than the other. And when you start to make any sort of progress, maybe you're like, all right, I'm going to commit to doing XYZ for 30 days. It can feel like you take one step forward and then something might come and derail you and boom, now you're 2 steps back. So that paradigm in itself sets people up for failure, that work-life balance paradigm. The fix is to adopt a more powerful paradigm. Adopt a more powerful paradigm. A belief. That's another way of putting it, right? The belief you have right now is work-life balance. Adopt a different belief. And the belief that I recommend, this is the belief that I use, is PPC balance. P being your performance, the things that you produce, the things that you output in your life, the golden eggs. PC being your performance capacity, your ability to actually produce those things, the golden goose. This is the balance between the golden eggs and you, the golden goose. Now, the reason why this is so powerful is because when you're going through life, you're going to be creating a lot of P. That's what you're doing, whether it's at work and you're actually putting in those hours at work, or maybe your primary responsibility is your kids and you're putting energy into your kids, or maybe you sit on different boards or you're part of different community organizations or you organize things with your friends and that's where you're putting your energy. Whatever it is, that's your P. And a lot of people have lives right now where their P is way greater than their PC, meaning they put out a lot of golden eggs, but their golden goose is sick or weak. That is the imbalance that you will feel 100%. If you're putting out more golden eggs than you can actually produce in a sustainable way, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel worn down. You're going to feel stressed out. You're going to feel anxious. That's what happens when your P is very high and your PC is low. So the balance to strike, it's not a balance between work and life. It's a balance between what you put out and what you put in. If you think of yourself as a cup and you have water in your cup, and when you pour that water out, that's your P. You're pouring water out every day. You pour a little bit out in your work. You pour a little bit out in your family. You pour a little bit out in your friends. By the end of the day, what do you got left in your cup? PC is about refilling that cup. And so for me personally, I strive for PPC balance. That means all throughout my day, all throughout my week, all throughout my month, I'm constantly replenishing myself in many different ways to make sure that my cup stays full, because I know I have a lot of P that I'm cranking out right now between podcasts and coaching clients and other projects and being a father and being a husband and leading different groups in my community and teaching different things. I have a lot of P. There's a lot of production going on. And over the years, I've been very intentional. I've been very proactive at growing my PC, growing my ability to sustain that amount of production. So right now, my cup is huge, and my huge cup stays full. That's the type of balance I recommend you strike. Not work-life balance, PPC balance. Now, there's another type of balance you can seek out as well. I've talked about this several times over the years, but this is called the body vehicle. And the body vehicle is a way of looking at your overall well-being. So if you think of a car that has 5 wheels, you have a steering wheel, and then you've got the 4 tires, right? You can think of your overall well-being in the same way. Your mental is your steering wheel. Your spiritual and social are your front two tires. And your emotional and your physical are your back two tires. So if you're thinking about balance in this context, in this paradigm, the balance is how inflated are all five of your tires. Because right now, if you're feeling imbalanced, overstressed, uninspired, I guarantee you one or more of those five wheels are low or depleted. The wheels again, mental, spiritual, social, physical, and emotional. So you can do a real quick audit of yourself, a real quick scan, and say, where am I right now in my mental health? Where am I right now in my emotional health, in my spiritual health, in my physical health, in my social health? How am I doing in these areas? You can even rate yourself a 1 out of 10. And people who feel imbalanced, they've got several of those at low numbers. You're getting close to like really, really feeling it. If you're below a 7, it's like, okay, let's put some attention into this area. If you're below a 5, then that's where it becomes like, okay, this is a cute type of thing that I'm feeling a whole lot of. If you're a 3 or below, it's something that you want to address immediately. So balance between the 5 wheels of your body vehicle is another type of way to look at balance. And what happens is, as you start addressing those wheels of your body vehicle, you start filling those tires up, you start filling yourself up so that you can then continue to do the things you want to do in your life in a way that you want to do them. Because what happens is we get out of balance when we're giving to everything else out there and we aren't replenishing to ourselves. That's one of the biggest reasons that people are always feeling out of balance. So that's the first mistake, having a losing paradigm. Mistake number 2. This one happens all the time. You haven't defined what balance really means for you. What the heck does balance mean to you? Not my opinion, not my description of it, not what the internet tells you. What does it mean for you? This goes right in hand with the first point about the losing paradigm. Because if you don't know what balance means to you, then how can you actually achieve it? Think about that. If you don't have a clear answer for yourself right now, when I ask you, what does balance mean to you? If you don't have a clear answer for that question, how can you possibly achieve it? You can't. That's the answer. You can't. So for me, I know that balance, if I'm in balance, that means I'm maintaining a 90% or greater on my balance chart. I've customized that tool to know that when I'm hitting 90% or more of my weekly habits, I am hitting all areas in my body vehicle. I'm making sure that my PC is as high or greater than my P, and I'm cruising. I don't even have to think about it. So you have to be aware of what it even means for you. You need to go out and define it. And you also have to allow your definition to change, right? Because balance is fluid. It's never just one thing. It changes over time, especially when life changes. When Sarah and I had Maya, guess what? My concept of balance changed. It shifted a little bit about what I felt like I needed to do for myself. I ended up doing more for myself after having her, because now I'm pouring out more into this individual. And so I want to make sure that I'm not completely depleting myself in the process. So in the months leading up, I stepped my game up. As we got closer to having Maya, I stepped my game up and I started to increase the size of my cup, increase the size of my PC, because I knew I was going to be having more output as soon as she arrived. And so your concept of balance needs to be fluid. So when you're defining what balance means to you, you're going to write it down, define it. This is what balance means to me. And then understand that's what it means to you today. It can change tomorrow. It can change next week. But just having that idea for balance, now you know what you can play for. And so here's your fix. Remember, the mistake is you haven't defined what balance really means to you. The fix is to answer the question, what does balance mean to me? Answer the question, what does it feel like when I'm in balance? When the elements of my life are in harmony and I'm in alignment? What does it feel like? Answer the question, what does a balanced day look like for me? From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. if I was to design my perfect balanced day, what would it look like? So get clear on what balance is for you. And then understand that's your end goal. If you're currently imbalanced and you get clear as to what balance means for you, now that's your end goal. And once you have your end goal, you've got your starting point and your ending point. Now you can map out a route to get there. It's like your GPS. If you want to go from where you are right now to some location in your city, as soon as you have that end point, your GPS gets to work figuring out the most efficient route. But so far in your life, you know where you're at right now, but you haven't defined what balance means to you. So how can you get there if you haven't defined it? So that's the fix for you. All right. Mistake number 3 is that you aren't patient. You are not patient. So many people who want to create balance in their life want it to happen soon. Want it to happen today, overnight, by next week, by the end of the month, by the end of the summer, by the end of the quarter. I want to experience more balance. And what happens is people just in general don't stick to their healthy new routine for long enough. Here's the truth. It took you years to develop the habits right now that are keeping you out of balance. Years. You've been doing this stuff for so long. So why do you think it's only going to take a few days or only a few weeks or only a few months for you to get into alignment? Particularly if this is the first time you're actually going to define what being in alignment looks like for you. Habits take time to cement. And then once a habit is in place, it takes time for that to become part of your character. Because right now you might have an imbalanced character, and you develop that character over years. So be patient. Be patient. And this is one of the biggest thing. Like when I was running a marketing agency, and we had clients who would come and they'd say, "Listen, I'm trying to get to this goal, and these are my resources, and here's my timeline." And one of the biggest things that we would talk to people about is that they got to be patient. You got to let things work for you. You have a plan. Let's execute on the plan. Let's look at feedback. Let's adjust along the way. Let's look at those milestones. Let's ship things away. But patience was one of the biggest reasons why people didn't hit their goals. And that was in the business world. That was in marketing world. And that's the same right here with our health and our overall well-being. You aren't patient. And that impatience causes you to doubt different things. It causes you to get frustrated at setbacks. Guess what? As you're working on creating, establishing balance in your life, you're going to move forward. You're going to move backwards. It's not a straight up. It's not a straight line. Like everybody wants to have this straight upward line. If you look at like a graph, the XY axis, everybody wants that straight line. Guess what? It's up and down, up and down, up and down. And what's happening is you're getting out of alignment and in alignment, out of alignment, in alignment. So the patience comes where you play for that long game, and then over time you get tighter and tighter and tighter around what it means to actually be in balance in your life. So here's your fix. The mistake is you aren't patient. The fix, commit to your routine for 90 days. Whatever it is that you're going to set in your mind as, okay, this is what balance means to me. All right. And you're going to sit down and think about that and come up with some actual action items. Balance looks like waking up this time or eating this or doing this, whatever. Commit to that for 90 days and do it. Don't stop. Don't adjust. Don't say, "Oh, it's vacation. It's like it's the kids' summer vacation, so it's okay if I don't." No. That's the reason why you're imbalanced right there. Excuses. I get it. I want to make excuses for things too. But the fix for this, I'm telling you the fix, is to commit. It's to make a commitment and to show up for yourself. And then after the 90 days, look at the feedback and make any changes that you need. That's when you adjust. That's when you assess. But you don't do it during the process, because all that does is reinforces all the reasons why you're currently out of balance. That's all that does.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. you'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now, get free shipping with your new Bartesian when you go to Bartesian.com/cocktail. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for weddings, holidays, birthdays, or for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. And right now, get free shipping with your Bartesian purchase at Bartesian.com/cocktail. Go to BARTESIAN.com/cocktail and your home cocktail maker ships for free. That's Bartesian.com/cocktail.
If you're looking for something that's going to help you to commit to making those changes, I recommend the Trust Challenge. Go check that out. It's an awesome program. It's 4 weeks long. I already give you the habits. I give you all sorts of different things. And it's just all these different types of deposits into yourself and all these ways that you can contribute to others. And part of it is the intention around that is so that you're introducing these new things into your life to fill your tank back up, to fill up your cup. So the Trust Challenge is definitely something to check out. And you can go to my website, which is MatthewBivens.com. And the navigation, you'll see the Trust Challenge. You can just click on that and sign up. Totally free. All right, number 4. Fourth mistake as to why work-life balance just isn't working out for you. You don't have a why that's bigger than the obstacles you are guaranteed to face. Huge mistake people have. What I mean by this is, if the reason why you want balance in the first place, if the reason why you want balance isn't bigger than the challenges that you will come across, because you will come across challenges, then those challenges are going to beat you every single time, guaranteed. You must underline that, you must have a desire that's greater than the obstacle. The fire that's burning within you has to be greater than any breeze that can come by and blow that flame out. So what does that actually look like? Well, if you're a parent, then maybe your why right now is to be a powerful and healthy role model for your kids. Because guess what? They're watching you. And they're doing what you're doing rather than doing what you're saying. Or maybe you're a part of a big family. And that big family all through the years has deeply rooted unhealthy habits. Maybe unhealthy eating or lack of exercise, that type of thing. Then perhaps your why is to end that cycle of unhealthy living and to inspire your family. That could be a why for you right now. Or maybe you're a business owner or you're a leader within your organization, and maybe your why is to walk your talk. Yeah, maybe your why is to walk your talk, to have integrity, and to really be the values that you promote within your organization. Whatever it is, you've got to have some sort of why within you that's greater than when obstacles hit. Because as you're going about establishing balance, creating that, stuff's going to come up. It's totally going to come up. It's the same things that cause you to stop. Remember the previous point? The previous mistake was not being patient. So stuff comes up and then you want to quit or you want to adjust. When you have a why for yourself that's bigger than any of those obstacles, then when the obstacle comes up, you can just remind yourself of your why and it helps you to move through. And I say that because I use my personal mission statement as my why. And that mission statement is so amazing that there's nothing that is going to come up that's going to completely freeze me in my tracks. Because that mission statement was engineered to be more powerful than any of the stuff that could come up. And I've got that flame burning so freaking hot inside of me that there's no wind, there's no hurricane, there's no typhoon that's coming that's going to wipe that out. None. So the fix for this mistake, remember the mistake is that you don't have a why that's bigger than the obstacles you're going to face as you create balance. The fix is to come up with your why for this season in your life. Just for this season in your life. Now, you can do that by creating a personal mission statement like what I have, and that's an awesome tool to have. And I've got episodes, like previous episodes, all about personal mission statements. One of them is called Why Personal Mission Statements Are the Most Powerful Way to Uncover Your Direction and Path. That's a conversation I had with Sarah. And another one is My Personal Mission Statement, Why Knowing What You're Playing For Will Change Your Life. Those two right there are great resources about creating a mission statement. And then I also have the blueprint, the Having It All blueprint the course I launched earlier in the year, a huge part of that course, I would say about 75% of that course is building you up to create your mission statement. So you'll have that through the course. So that's one way you can go. You can go the route of creating a mission statement. But you can also do something a little bit more simple, which is come up with a word for the year or a word for this season in your life. Because a lot of times if you've got nothing, a single word that you can really embrace and connect with, that can power you incredibly far. And so I point a lot of people to that idea of creating a word for the year. And I've been doing that for many, many years, creating a word for the year. And I came up with a tool that can help you do it. It's a free tool. It's called Word for the Year tool. It's on my website. So you can go to MatthewBivens.com. You'll see tools up in the navigation bar. Click that, and you'll see Word for the Year tool. And that right there will help. It'll walk you through developing a single word that you can connect with. So maybe your single word is courage. Just an example. So as you're going about working on shifting those habits to create that balance in your life that you want, and you come up against something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you can look back on that word, courage. Okay, what does it really look like for me to feel courage and to be courage? And you can connect with that in your heart, in your soul, in your DNA. Connect with courage. And that right there can help you move through whatever discomfort is in front of you that's making you want to stop. So that's your fix for number 4. And the final mistake that a lot of people make, you might be making it right now, is that you give in when it gets uncomfortable. Yep. You give in when it gets uncomfortable. When it gets hard, you quit. You see how a lot of these mistakes are connected? Yeah. So by definition, right now, the reason why you're imbalanced is because you stayed in your comfort zone. That's why. You stayed right there in your comfort zone. That's why life is just running you ragged. Therefore, the solution to creating balance is to step out of your comfort zone. Develop a habit of getting out of your comfort zone. And that can look like a lot of different things. It could look like waking up 30 minutes earlier and exercising before you really get your day started. And you might feel uncomfortable getting up earlier. It's one of the reasons why people just give in on that. They don't want to feel uncomfortable waking up early, or they don't want to feel uncomfortable giving up their late night TV. Game of Thrones is over, everybody. That's no longer an excuse. But you may not want to feel uncomfortable giving up your Netflix. You got to watch that last thing. That's a big reason. So another reason, or another thing that it can look like stepping out of your comfort zone, it can look like choosing to eat healthier. Yeah, maybe you want to release sugar for a little while. And that might feel uncomfortable right there. Because when you're stressed out, you just want that chocolate. You just want your chocolate-covered almonds, or you just want that chocolate bar, or you just want that chocolate ice cream, whatever it is, you just want your chocolate. And so it's uncomfortable to not have it, to not have that sugar fix. It's uncomfortable to choose fruit instead of that chocolate. That's the reason why you're staying imbalanced, because you don't want to be uncomfortable. Discomfort might look like saying no to people. If you're the type of people-pleasing person who just gives and gives and gives and gives, that might be a massive area of discomfort for you. Saying no. Because when your kids ask, you say yes. And when your employer asks, you say yes. And when your spouse asks, you say yes. So learning how to say no and learning how to really connect with yourself, that's one of the ways that you can really get into this state of balance, because now you're no longer staying with that discomfort. You're no longer allowing the discomfort to hold you back. Yeah. So what's the fix on that one? What's the fix on giving in when it gets uncomfortable? The fix is you decide for yourself right now, that you're going to create balance in your life. You either choose it or you don't. There's no going halfway on this. Well, maybe I'll just make a little bit of... Nah. You either choose it or you don't. When you go half in, you're simply confirming and strengthening all the fears and all the stories that are keeping you in balance in the first place. So choose it. Choose balance. Choose to show up for yourself, make the commitment, and follow through on it. There really is no special hack on this mistake. There's nothing like, no little trick I can give you. There's no little resource I'm going to send you to. It's just a choice. And it's totally fine if you choose to not show up for yourself in that way. That's totally fine. If you choose to remain in balance, that's great. Choose it and just own it. That's the thing. We choose something, and yet we do not like the result of that choice. And that's what happens right now if you're complaining about being stressed out and balanced. You're choosing to be in that space. You're choosing to say yes to everybody. You're choosing to forego the healthy foods. You're choosing to not exercise, or whatever it is, you're choosing it, and you're not enjoying the result of that. You don't like how you feel. You don't like how stressed out you are, right? That's misalignment right there with the principle, every choice has a consequence. So if that's the space that you're in, simply choose something different. And you will continue to choose imbalance until you're done experiencing imbalance. That's just how it works. And it might be that right now at this podcast, you're connecting with what I'm saying right now and you're going to choose balance. That might be it, and that'll be awesome. But it might not be it. You might need to hear a message like this 500 more times. And on the 501st time, then you might be ready to choose balance for yourself. But it does come down to a choice. And you have the power to choose. All right? So there's actually one more. There's 6 on this list, not 5. I can't even count my own list. Isn't that something right there? This one's great, though. So the last mistake that you're likely making if you've been struggling with work-life balance is that you aren't treating your balance as a priority. People do that all the time. Listen, okay, if you're not, if you're in a space right now where you can actually pull out your phone, I want you to look at your calendar right now on your phone, or if it's on your desk, wherever it is. Look at your calendar right now and answer this. How many items on there are solely on there for your health and for your well-being? Probably 0. Probably 0. If you're like most people, there's nothing on your calendar that's there specifically for you. And so if you're imbalanced and you're struggling with that, then you've got to begin making yourself care and your balance, like making your self-care a priority. You have to. That's what it is, right? It starts with being proactive. There's that word again. Being proactive and intentional. And proactive isn't, I'll go for a walk around my neighborhood, once I finish my work. That's not proactive, because guess what? Something else is going to insert itself and you'll never go for that walk. Proactive is, I'll go for a walk around my neighborhood tonight at 6 p.m. and I'm going to take my dog with me. That's proactive. And making it a priority would sound like, I'm going for a walk first thing in the morning, right after I have my morning juice. I'm going to go for a walk before my day begins so that the rest of the day does not have a chance to derail this habit. That's what it looks like to make your balance and your self-care and your health a priority. So, one of the reasons why you're in balance is you just aren't treating your balance as a priority. It's very simple. So what's the fix? The fix is to block out time on your calendar that's solely there for your health and balance. Just for your health and balance. And do not schedule anything else in that block. Never. That is your time. That is your opportunity to refill your tank. Remember, go back to the paradigm of PPC balance. Throughout the day, you're going to be giving out P, production, golden eggs, all over the place. You're pouring your cup out all over your friends, your family, your work, all that stuff. So this block that's on your calendar, and ideally you have multiple, those blocks are meant for you to refill your tank, refill your cup. Those are PC blocks. Those are performance capacity blocks. Times when you do the things that you need to do to get back into balance, to get back into alignment. That's what it is. And guess what? You're going to have to change your current routine. Yeah. You're going to have to change things because right now you're not in balance and your day is all filled up. None of us have like empty blocks of time on our day. We just don't. So right now your day is all filled up. So that means that in order for you to now prioritize some time for you, you have to change some things. You might need to, like I said before, release some TV. Yeah, maybe you just don't watch 2 hours of TV at night. Maybe you cut it in half. Or maybe if you're doing 45 minutes, you do 15. Or maybe you wake up earlier. Maybe you get up 30 minutes earlier. Maybe instead of having your lunch at your desk, you go outside and eat your lunch. Even if it's just sitting on the curb in front of your building. That's how you be proactive in really reclaiming your balance. You've got to prioritize it. And nobody else is going to do it for you. Not your spouse or your employer or your personal trainer. None of them. You've got to do it for you. And you've got to make it a priority for you. So remember, go back to that little asterisk I said. With everything I say in this episode, you've got to now take it upon yourself to go and do it. There's been a lot of, great action items here. For every single thing that I've shared, there's a very specific action you can get into. And for some of the things, I gave you multiple actions. So there's no excuse as to why you continue to feel imbalanced other than you're just choosing it. And that's okay too. Remember, if you're choosing it, just choose it. Right? Like the other night, Sarah and I bought a whole huge bag of cookies from Sprouts. Huge bag of cookies from Sprouts, which is not usually what we indulge on. We were like, you know what? We're about to eat these cookies and enjoy them. It's like if you follow The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, on Instagram, on Sunday, this dude has massive cheat meals. And I saw his Instagram post from a couple days ago. He had a huge plate-sized cookie. He had an ice cream cookie sandwich, and he said that he ate more of those, and he loved it. It's like if you choose these things, just choose them. Be cool with it. It's all right. It's the stress about it. It's the way you relate to it that does more damage than the thing itself. So if you're choosing to not prioritize yourself in those ways, just like accept it. Accept the consequence of that, right? The consequence is you feel imbalanced. You feel stretched thin. You feel worn out. You feel like you don't have energy or time or bandwidth or desire to give into all the different people and entities who want from you. It's not a fun feeling, but you can still accept it for what it is. Now, if you want to shift it up, then replay this episode because there's a lot of stuff in there. A lot of stuff in there. And I know what it's like to feel imbalanced. I was imbalanced for so many years. And a lot of it had to do with my paradigm around it. That's why I shared that first. That whole idea about what balance actually means. And I had to release a lot of what I also thought was the way that a powerful, effective employee. That's when I really started to embrace imbalance. I really bought into the culture of, you work 14 hours a day. That's what you do in a startup. We're in a tech startup. We're going to change the world. So, of course, that's what you do. Whatever. Migraine, it's cool. I'm just going to plow through it. I'll have some alcohol when I get off work. It's like, you know what? I've got a girlfriend, but she can be by herself again tonight. It's cool. I don't need to worry about that relationship. I just got to plow through work. Like, I know that whole experience of being imbalanced and how it impacts your health and your relationships and your mental well-being and all of that. I know it. I've been there. And where I'm standing today is in a very different space. Very balanced, very centered, very aligned. And guess what? I get out of balance on occasion too. Yeah. So this whole conversation about balance, this is never something that you get in and you lock it in. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. It's not like when you graduate. There's a lot of people who've been graduating this month. As soon as you get your degree, no one can take that degree from you. It's yours. You earned it. That's not how balance works. It's not like as soon as you get things in, boom, it's locked in. And no one can shift it and move you from it. No. Balance is a moment-to-moment choice. Moment to moment. Not day to day. Moment to moment. You're going to either be in alignment or out of alignment. In balance or out of balance. That's it. If you've ever seen somebody doing yoga and they're doing a tree pose and they've got one leg up and they're in the tree pose. I'm doing it right now as I'm standing talking to you. If you look at them, if you look at their knee and their leg, you're going to see micro adjustments because all while they're standing in that powerful still pose, their body is adjusting because they're going out of alignment, in alignment, out of balance, in balance. And they're making micro adjustments constantly to keep the overall themselves overall centered. That's what you do. That's how you create and sustain balance. You get clear as to what that center is for you, and you micro-adjust, moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day. Am I out? My body's going to tell me. Am I feeling worn out? Am I feeling tired? Am I feeling thirsty? Am I feeling hungry? Okay, let me get back in. Boom. That's what you do. that's how you create some balance in your life. And that's how you sustain it. So there you go. You got a lot of amazing things in this episode. And like I said, I'm doing a whole series on balance, and I'm going to start doing a webinar, maybe even a series of them where I dig into this stuff even more. So I'm going to announce that a little bit later on. This is going to be like a class where I teach some of this stuff, and I'll give you a link and you can sign up and you can come join me on the video, and I'll be teaching you more of these concepts and helping you out more with really creating and sustaining balance, because that's what I'm all about, right? I can give you all this stuff, but it has to be something that's sustainable, right? Because this isn't like a crash diet. Crash diets are not sustainable. They just help you get some sort of result in a short time frame. That's not what this is about. I want you to build a lifestyle around balance. Remember, I'm a balanced lifestyle coach. That's what I do. I did all this work on myself first. And so everything that I share with you in this episode and all the future ones about balance, these are all things that I do and I implement with myself in my life. So be on the lookout. I'll share with you the information for the webinar. And here's to you just creating balance, just taking one step forward, one tiny step forward to feeling more balance in your life. I know it's possible for you. I'm rooting for you. I'm sending you out some balanced energy and love. And my name is Matthew Bivens. Here's to you having it all. Quick note about the Having It All podcast. I am not a doctor nor a licensed therapist. I'm a guy with a story and a passion for conscious conversation. My thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are my own. So please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider regarding any questions or issues you have related to your personal, physical, or mental health.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.